My name is Larry Ellis, and I am the jazz player. I've been a musician all my life. As a matter of fact, I've been a musician well before I was born because my grandfather and all his brothers were musicians, and they played all different instruments. As a matter of fact, their gig was they would go and play a song, and then on the next song they would all switch instruments. On the next song they would all switch instruments. That's how good of musicians they were. So music runs strong in my family. And from the time I was 3 years old, I would sit and bang on the piano, and my mother would come get me, and then I would crawl back to the piano and climb back up there and start banging again until I was 6 years old. And she started having me take piano lessons, first classical, and then when I got to be 13, I started taking jazz theory. And my music teacher, John Trinelon, taught me chords and scales, and Mr. Raymond Gregory taught me how to transpose everything into all keys. As a matter of fact, he didn't believe that you knew how to play a song unless you could play it in every key. So that was how I came up learning how to play music. And then I got into typical things, garage bands, and then began to form my own group. And then in 1996, I started recording music. And with the help of a good family friend, I was able to produce my first album called My Rhythm. And 2 years later, I was back with Impressions. And it was a little bit of space between Impressions and Your Favorites, My Way. But I'm back again in 2010 with Your Favorites, My Way, and a bunch of great tunes that you can listen to. I've opened the show for three memorable people that I really love talking about. I opened the show for Gerald Albright. I've opened the show for Boney James and Najee and Pete Escovedo. Some great people that I've had the pleasure of opening the show for. It was very surprising and humbling to be nominated, first of all, for the BMA Sounds of Soul Music Awards. I was shocked when I got the email from Mr. Rick Warren, and in a million years, I never thought I would win. If you're in a category with Roger Smith and Jimmy Malone and Kevin Byrd, you don't really think that you have an opportunity to win because these are world-class musicians. Roger Smith plays with Tower Power as their organist, so when I got nominated in that category, I didn't think I had a chance to win. But I did, and I'm very happy that it all turned out the way that it did. And I had an opportunity to win 2 BMA Sounds of Soul Music Awards, one for Best Jazz Musician and the other for Best Jazz Band. And it was really funny because when they announced my name, the first one, I was really in shock because I hadn't prepared anything to say because I never thought that it was going to happen that I would win. So I was shocked to begin with for winning one. When they called my name for the second one, it was really amazing. It was a wonderful day, a wonderful night for our family. It was validation, not just for me, but it was validation for my grandfather and all his brothers who were musicians who maybe never received any kind of awards or never received any kind of recognition whatsoever for all the work that they did in their body of work as musicians. And it all culminated perhaps in me receiving those 2 awards. So the BMA Sounds of Soul Music Awards 2010 was definitely one of the major highlights of my life. I guess if I have to pick a favorite from the Impressions CD, it would be Rush Hour. I wrote Rush Hour for Mr. Joe Sample. He's kind of a musical mentor of mine, and I followed his career from when he was with the Crusaders and when he went out on his own. And it's my responsibility as a musician to do the best I could to emulate the masters of the trade, and I consider Mr. Joe Sample to be exactly that. So I wrote a tune on my Impressions CD called Rush Hour. And it's a real funky tune. It's kind of a real aggressive tune. And if you've ever been in concert with Joe Sample, you'll kind of get the flavor of what kind of individual he is. And I had a chance to meet him, give him the CD with the song on it that I wrote. And if I have to pick one from the Impression CD, the one I wrote for Joe Sample, Rush Hour, is one that I know you're gonna like. My new musical baby, Your Favorites, My Way. I can't really pick a favorite on there because this is a compilation of songs that I've loved my whole life. The album starts with Ode to Billy Joe and then Chameleon. And I remember when I first heard Ode to Billy Joe jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge, I remember how the song moved me. And I've been thinking about doing Ode to Billy Joe for 3 to 5 years. That song has been in the planning. And Chameleon by Herbie Hancock has just been one of my favorites for such a long time. And I wanted to do a version that nobody else had done before. I wanted to change the rhythm of the song. I wanted to make it different feel of a song. And that's what I think I was able to accomplish in Chameleon. Rock Steady, by the Whispers. I have one original tune on there, Nothing But a G Thing. Wow. Nothing But a G Thing, to try to make a hip-hop song into a jazz song, that took a lot. That was a lot of work. And I got to give a lot of props to my co-producer, Mr. Dave D-Man Rapace, because he worked long and hard to get the same feel out of Nothing But a G Thing, but to use and pick the right instrumentation so that it would come across with a jazz flavor. And that's one that I know you can't help but like, from the brand new Your Favorites, My Way CD. It's been a pleasure spending a little bit of time with you. Hopefully you've been able to hear some things that have helped you get to know me a little bit better, and hopefully I've gotten to know you a little bit better as well. If you'd like to know when I'm going to be playing some music, you can check my website. If you'd like to know and listen to the music that I have on the website, it's www.jazzplaya.com. I am thejazzplayer.com. My name is Larry Ellis. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. And we're burning daylight. I gotta go. We'll talk to you later.